Hi, I'm Robert Hossie. I've been a massage therapist now for 25 years, and during that time, I've started the nation's only massage school fully located in a hospital setting. I've been the director of marketing for the National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, but most importantly, I've started several massage clinics of my own from the ground up. I know what it takes to start your own massage business, and the truth is, in 2013, an annual report by the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards, they said the median income for massage therapists was just $20,000. It's not even a livable wage. And the truth is, every massage therapist in the country could be busy if they understood how to market themselves and how to actually make that happen and how to increase the number of people receiving massage. But to do that, it takes knowledge, step-by-step understanding of starting a clinic and also how to market that properly. And that's what this program is going to be for. I want to help you do that step-by-step from the very beginning all the way through opening your doors up. Let's do that, step-by-step. Step number one is pre-planning. Before I can go any further, we need to talk about how do you build your business. Well, it comes down to a few things. And one of those first and most important things is what makes you happy. First question is what makes you happy. How can your business help you achieve that? Timothy Ferriss in his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, talks about how we as Americans work our entire lives so we can save up money so we can do what we enjoy most, and that might be travel, for example. And I love to travel, and I've lived my life now in such a way that I can do what I do with my business, but also travel constantly and do the very things I would normally wait till I retire for, but I can live that life now. For yourself, it's the same thing. Maybe you want to live a simpler life, and maybe you would want to have less stuff and be able to spend that money on something more productive, and that's what you want to do. Or maybe it's a certain cause you want to give to or support. But do those things now versus living your whole life trying to build up a 401k so you can stop working and just enjoy those things. The 4-Hour Workweek got me thinking about what Americans chase and what that American dream is. Why am I trying to impress people and versus making myself happy? I'm just trying to spend money in a way that is trying to impress all my neighbors. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to live a life that was more simple and have fun. In January of 2014, I nearly died after my cancer treatment. It's a long story, but I was found after I went to Las Vegas, and I had a great time down there for the Consumer Electronics Show, but I caught some bug. And I came back, and they found me in my bed in complete rigor, pneumonia, respiratory failure, and complete systemic sepsis. And I almost died. And facing potentially losing half your tongue or having that was big, but almost dying was even bigger. It really made me start to look back and think, okay, what's important to me? And so for yourself, I want you to ask that same question. If your life was limited and you knew that you only had a certain amount of time left, what would you do? What makes you happy? What makes you fulfilled? Do those things now. You're thinking, this video is about teaching me how to start my own business, but it comes down to what makes you happy? What are you chasing after? So number two is, what is success to you? What's that success look like? Is it storing up lots of cash? Is it changing the world in a specific measurable way? Maybe it's having a certain amount of income that you can use to live your life and work less than 40 hours a week. Maybe it's having more time with your kids. Whatever success is to you, I want you to write those things down so you have that as an understanding for yourself before you even write your next business plan, before you even take a step further. Write down what success is to you. And I have an old t-shirt from Hawaii, and it says, the unnamed arrow never misses, and that's very true. Number three, we want to ask ourselves, what is my business going to look like in 5 years? Do you want to sit alone at home in your own home office and just work by yourself? Do you want to have maybe a home office where you're doing massage therapy, myotherapy with people, and you're working with one client at a time? Maybe it's a big spa with 100 therapists. Maybe it's a multidisciplinary health clinic when you've got a juice bar and a food store, health food store, and naturopaths and chiropractors all working together in tandem for your client's health. What does that look like for you, and what do you want to have it look like in a year from now? Number four, and we'll come into this more detail later in the business plan, but what is your purpose? What is the very underlying theme, and what drives you, and what's important to you, what that purpose looks like for your future of your business and even for yourself? But who you are is what your business is, and you want to understand what that purpose is, so write that down. And under that purpose, you're going to start to write something called your mission statement. And again, we'll go into this more in depth, but the mission statement is something that changes from time to time, every 2 or 3 years, but it's based on your purpose. And it's more a short-term understanding of the direction of your business, what you want that to do, and what goals you want to attain. The next thing you want to think about in your pre-planning phase is going to be whether you want to be an employee versus self-employed, the pros and cons. Before you even jump ship and leave maybe a job that you have, do you want to be self-employed? And if you do, why? And write those things down. Is there a positive aspect to that versus being an employee, and what might be the safety of that? Honestly, being an employee is not a safe place to be. It doesn't guarantee your income. And when you work for yourself, you have control of your company. When you work for somebody else, they control your destiny. Next is timing. What's holding you back from starting today? Sometimes people think, geez, I just need to have more money, or I need to have a certain income before I can afford to start my own business, and maybe I need to have my house in order in a certain way. And it's not necessarily true. It's like having kids. People say, well, wait to have kids until all these things fall into place, and those things never quite fall into place. So timing is important for you. The next thing has to do with really your beliefs about competition or market saturation. If you believe that there's too many massage therapists out there already, you're not busy because there's too many massage therapists, honestly, you're mistaken. The truth is, there's everybody in America, every massage therapist out there could be busy right now if they understood how to market themselves and how to educate the public. And people don't have to have massage, and we'll discuss that more in depth. But if you believe that there's too many therapists, it's going to be hard for you to run your business. You need to really realize, I have the power to increase my business and grow and get more people to receive massage and be busy. If you believe you can change the market, you'll be more successful. Something else to think about is maybe you have a fear of failure. Some people have a fear of not succeeding, and that holds them back. And my father asked me once, he says, what happens if your business doesn't work out? And I was starting my massage school. I put everything on the line. I had signed leases, and I had gotten loans, and I had all those things put together. And he said, what happens if it doesn't work out? And I said, well, I lose everything. He says, what do you mean everything? I said, everything. So you have to be willing to put yourself fully vested into your business. If you want to succeed in a big way, you have to be able to take chances and take risks, because life is a risk. Just even getting a job can be risky, So don't be fearful. Don't be let the fear of failure override you. And some people have a fear of success. What happens if my business gets going really well, or I have too much fame or notoriety, or I have people depending on me? Think that through. Understand yourself and what motivates you, but don't be fearful of success. Have a plan for success and a plan for how you're going to strategize and make that happen. Next thing you need to do is actually just start taking the plunge and going full time. I think a lot of people think, geez, I'll start my business off slowly. I have a few clients, and I'll keep doing my one job, and I'll try to build my massage business. And you can do that. But what happens is it takes such a long time, and it's a very, very slow process that you never quite make it get off the ground. And for me, when I went into massage therapy, I went 100% full time. I spent every waking moment working on building my business. If I wasn't massaging somebody, I was out there drumming that business and getting people to know who I was, and giving out free massage or speaking at events and things, and getting people to understand not just about who I was, but about the field of massage, and getting people to get massage that never had it before. So starting full-time, getting yourself fully immersed in your business is going to help you be more successful quicker than if you had just kind of gone to it half and half. On the upsides of massage is the ability to work part-time, and that's awesome. But the downside of doing that is that delay can really affect your attitude as well. So realize if you start too slowly, you're going to think, geez, it's not going to work out. I'm just not going to do it. And I have all these student loans or all this money spent on my education, and you never end up doing massage because you think, I just couldn't make it go. But the truth was, you never actually put the time into it. So hopefully you'll go all in and make this happen, because you're going to put that as 100% of your focus. It's also important to have your family support. I recommend people, if they want to get into massage therapy as their business, you have a family meeting. Maybe it's just you and your spouse, or you and your significant other. Have a meeting and make sure they're fully on board. If you're going home every night and that person or family is against you and saying it's never going to work, why are you wasting your time? You need to contribute more. It's going to be difficult to keep your spirits up and keep a great attitude when every time you go home, you have a negative response to that. So please have a family meeting, or have a meeting with that significant other, and really get them on board and make a commitment that they're going to give you time to build your business and have that support behind you. Next, you want to think about scalability of your business. Is your business going to be something that you really don't know what's going to happen, you don't really care, or you just take it as it comes, or do you want to scale your business into a certain size and a certain number of employees and a certain income, and then maybe over time back that down. Have a plan in your mind of what your future is going to look like, so you'll understand when the time comes if you hit your goal or not. But scalability of a business is part of that thought process in your planning. So have that in mind as well. And lastly, an exit strategy. Are you building a business that provides you with an income, an inherent value that you can maybe sell that business in the future? If you want to sell your business, you need to have an exit strategy, what that's going to look like. Years ago, when I built my business, I've seen people in my city that have their personal name and associates, so John Doe and associates. And if he ever wants to sell that business, what's that going to look like? Does he sell his name? So for me, my business early on was called Body Mechanics. And that went from Body Mechanics Massage to Body Mechanics Myotherapy Massage. And one day it became Body Mechanics School of Myotherapy Massage. And that was an entity that didn't have my name wrapped up in it. So when the time came to sell that business, it wasn't wrapped up in my name. I know a gentleman, and he had a large school and a series of salons that had his name on it. And so he no longer has the right to use his name in business, because when he sold that, it's essentially his name went with it. So be careful about using your name in your business. It's a great way to control from a standpoint of copyright, but watch out for that. As you're planning, sometimes there's an underlying feeling in massage therapists that they cannot be a healer and be a business person. The two don't mix. That you can't possibly be someone who has a open heart and wants to help and be altruistic, but yet also take people's money, and that the two don't go together. And that's not true. You actually can help people and use your hands and make a difference in their lives, and be a business person that asks them to write a check for that when you're done. And people think, oh, it's not true. You look at even Deepak Chopra, who's very much into Eastern medicines and such, and health, and has a large compound in California of training, and people are very much into that philosophy, but he gets paid well for it. So you can be a healer and be someone who also makes money. So if that is something that is bothering you, you need to work through that and realize it's okay to make an income because you have value and you want to exchange that value with somebody. Business is about taking risks. But also so is employment. When you go to work for a company, that's taking a risk, and you can put all your eggs in that basket, and you get a job with that company, and you're working your butt off, and you've given another job up for them. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, a year, that company says, you know what, we're going to lay you off. We don't need your services anymore. Maybe something happens, and they now have controlled your future. And so when you work for yourself, when you work hard, the benefit goes to you. The benefit comes directly into that. And people joke about, what stocks are you invested in? I say, oh, all my money's in one stock. And they say, really? I said, yeah, but the cool thing is I can manipulate that stock. I can control that stock, and that stock is in my own company. So I can actually have an effect on my company because of the decisions I make, and that's very powerful. Also, too often self-employed people get in the way of their own success. They kind of do things that cause their business not to do well. We're going to discuss some of those things and how business owners get in the way of that success. And but realize business owners are sometimes their worst enemy, and we don't want to have that happen. So I'll talk to you about that. But realize too that the most important thing you need to succeed is education, research, knowledge, but you also need mentors. You need people you can actually go to and ask questions of. There's a great organization called score.org, SCORE.org. And that company has retired people who help you with business. It's a great company or organization to work with for mentoring. But oftentimes those people are great from a generic standpoint, but they don't have the understanding of massage therapy. And I want to help you with that. So our company works with massage therapists specifically. And like I said, I've been there. I got people on my team who've been there, and we can help you really build your organization from an understanding of massage therapy. But have mentors on your side. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're part of our Mastermind Diamond Circle mentoring group already, and you're getting that information. But don't be afraid to send us in your questions. We answer them in bulk in our video podcast answering program. But make sure you have people on your side and utilize that support system. And lastly, when it comes to mentors, don't be afraid to maybe have your own little mastermind group of maybe it's several massage therapists or maybe a chiropractor or a PT or people who work for themselves and get together for coffee once a month and say, in my business, I'm dealing with this. What are your thoughts? And get people's input, because sometimes we get in this bubble and we think our information, our knowledge, and how we see things is the truth, and sometimes it's not. So don't be afraid to get other people's input and their philosophies on your business and get that input. In the pre-planning phase, you want to ask yourself, again, we've asked about what success looks like and those kinds of things, but also, is there a monetary goal? What do you really need to be successful? What do you need to pay your bills and to be happy? Perhaps you've got a house that's way too big for you. You don't need to spend that kind of money. So find a way to get a budget together of what you need to make. And so that will help you in your process as well. For me, I make as much as I need, not as much as I could. I can make more money if I worked harder, but again, I want to enjoy travel now while I'm younger and can enjoy life. And one of the most important things before you move on is really your state of mind, your confidence, your competence, and those thought processes control your success. And it's not a metaphysical thing. I'm not saying, name it and claim it, or if I just say it, it's going to happen. But as you think, so goes the truth about your future. So if you think I can do well, oftentimes it happens because you're going to have that confidence behind you. So please think about your thought processes and put thought into the fact that you can actually make this work. And very lastly, before you jump ship, if you are working for somebody else, you want to look at something called a non-compete clause. If you have in your agreement with a company you work for a non-compete clause, please make sure you look at that before you jump off and have your own company. Because if it says in there you cannot work for another company or whatever for a certain distance in a certain period of time, look at that strongly. If you want to fight it, let's say that the agreement says it's 10 miles radius for 10 years, well, that's not going to hold up in court. So do go ahead and do some research into that and see the legalities. But otherwise, take it serious that most people who have you sign a non-compete clause are willing to hire their attorneys to go after you for breaking that clause. And the last thing about that is many of those non-compete clauses are negotiable. They'll say, geez, you can buy out for this amount of money, or you can take clients for this amount per client. So you can negotiate those things. But please, before you start your own business, make sure you're not under that covering of a non-compete clause, because that will cause you legal problems. Let's talk about the next step.